Holy shit. I am so excited. We're back. ATP's back. This has been such a long time coming. I've had so many people talk to me about this, pester me about this, and I could not be more excited to be bringing this podcast back. I can't believe, honestly, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it again at any point in my life. So here we are, and thanks to the Mad Lab crew that I'm now working with, this is now possible. So thank you. Big shout out to Mike and Dan. So Dan, who you guys might know from the Lab podcast I've been doing recently, is going to be joining me from this point on. You probably might be wondering what happened to Dorian. Unfortunately, Dorian lives in Seattle. I now live in Maryland. Shit happens, right? Shit happens.
Shit
Dan,
happens.
how you doing today, man?
I'm great. I'm excited that you're doing this.
Yeah.
Because I know this has been a long time passion of yours.
Yep.
And I know I've been in your ear for a little bit to do it, and so I'm just excited to be part of it.
Dude, this podcast is going to be badass. I'm very, very stoked about it. Mike, give us a little hello.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That is seriously good stuff right there. Mike is our producer and has been doing a fantastic job on every single podcast I've been involved with ever since I got over to Maryland and to Mad Lab.
You have low standards. You work with Dan.
Yeah,
that's
rule number one right there.
I was going to say, that's ouch. Big time ouch. First of all, I disagree with
big time
both
red
of
flag.
those. Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Big time red flag that I would decide to work with you guys?
Yeah, true. With me. And Mike, that's a good decision.
Okay, fair enough. I was about to say, Mike's probably the best person I know. So
True. Yeah, I would say so.
We've talked about this many times.
Greatest human being we know. Mike, that's the last time, though, you're getting a compliment on this show.
The only time.
I can cut you off.
Yeah, true. I'm just kidding, Mike. More compliments coming.
There you go. Well, don't worry. We'll give you some more shout outs, Mike. But you guys might be wondering where our sponsors are. Well, as of right now, we are back to ground zero. So if you would like to sponsor this podcast, think about it. Insert here. This is your script. Whatever you would like, it could be here. And we would
right
be like, hey, right here specifically. in this general region where you see me showing everybody, if you're looking on the camera on probably our new YouTube, that's going to be cool. But I also wanted to go over the format of what we're going to be doing here from now on is going to be a lot different. So we're not really going to be doing any interviews as of right now. Some of the segments that you guys came to love and appreciate, like Fact or Fiction and some of our show reviews, we might be able to bring back. We'll talk about that. But the way that this show is going to go from this point on is going to be pretty simple. We are really going to talk about all thoughts, and in probably the best way possible in my mind is we have grabbed some random question generators and vetted them a little bit to make sure that the questions are actually good. And we're going to give candid responses. Like, we're straight up improving responses out here. And, yeah, we're going to see where it goes. I am personally excited. Dan, are you excited?
I'm really excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm through the moon, as they say.
Through the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an actual saying?
Mike, look that up. I'm pretty sure it's through the moon.
It's through the moon, right?
Yeah?
Through the moon. Okay, through the moon.
Yeah.
That's an old-ass saying right there.
Hey, man, I'm
But
an old-ass guy.
Hey, I was going to say that.
There you go.
You'd be wrong, Mike. You'd be wrong.
Let's say, no compliments for Dan today.
No compliments.
So, Mike, let's go ahead and start it off with the first question of the day. I just want to get right into it.
I don't think you have seen this one yet.
Okay, cool.
Have you ever saved someone's life?
How do we do this?
You can go ahead and say yes if you have.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you have?
Yes,
Okay, go
I
on.
have.
Yeah.
So we were at my friend Evan's house, kind of near where my parents lived. It was his parents' house, and it was only a couple of us drinking. I don't even know how old we were, 22, maybe 23. I think we were in college at the time. We were just back for some reason. So we're there drinking. No one really drinks a lot except for two people, my friend Matt and my friend Jordan. And at the time, a bunch of us went to Salisbury. I think Evan went to Taos, and there was a couple other places that people went. And I had seen a lot of parties at Salisbury, but these two guys, drunk by themselves, destroyed a house in a way I'm not sure if I've ever seen.
Okay.
They got so drunk off of whiskey sours, which really was just like when they were saying whiskey sours, they were just pouring whiskey into a glass
Yeah.
and then putting some kind of sour mix immediately and drinking it right afterwards. So there's like no mixing.
Okay.
It was a disaster.
Nice.
So they can barely stand up. My friend, we had to leave for some reason. My friend Jordan wanted to go back to my house. We wanted to go back to his house, and I was completely sober. So I was like, "Hey, I'll drive you." And he was going back to his dad's house. I was going back to my parents' house. All of them were within like 5 minutes of each other. Start driving. Jordan's like, "Dan, you gotta slow down. You gotta slow down." I was like, "Jordan, I'm literally going 30 miles an hour." And he's like, slower. And all right, I was like, all right. So we're creeping down the road at like 10, 15 miles an hour at this point. Jordan like leans out of the window and throws up outside the window. I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be tough. So I get all the way to his dad's house going just like 15 miles an hour. And right as we get to the driveway, he goes, "Danny, I can't go in there." He's like, "I can't go in there." He's like, call my dad and tell him I'm going to your house." And I was like, okay. So I call his dad. His dad's super cool. He's like, all right. He's like, just take care of Jordan. I was like, all right, no problem. I got him.
Yeah.
Get back to my parents' house. I slept in the basement. I went downstairs, and there was a couple of things that happened. I'm really, really glad that happened.
Okay.
One, that I slept in the basement. So I have a room in the house, but a long time when I was in high school, I used to pretend I had a back issue so I could sleep in the basement so I could sneak out my basement door.
Okay. Yeah.
But then later on, I just got used to sleeping in the basement. So then I just slept in the basement anytime I was home too. And I slept through my whole high school career. So my friend Jordan slept down there. I was sleeping down there in my bed. And so I pass out. And luckily I wasn't drinking either because I woke up because I heard a noise at like 3 in the morning or like 4 in the morning. And I could tell it was somebody throwing up. So it had to be Jordan. Now, when I wake up, I'm super blind too. So I like
it's random, but all right.
I'm very blind. Well, I have to think about where I think throw up is, and then I have to try to step over it because it is pretty dark, but I think that a normal person probably could have seen what was going on. So I couldn't. So I tried to step over where I thought throw up was, and I was like, I'm still probably going to step in it. But I didn't step in any. I also thought that was a little bit weird. So I flicked on the light, and so he was on his back, and he was choking on his own throw up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and his face was starting to like change color and stuff.
Shit.
Yeah, it was really scary. So I stared at it for a minute, and then I just pulled his head over, and I stuck my 2 fingers in his throat and just started scooping stuff out.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and he woke up finally. Was still like not there. So like then I like stayed up for a little bit, made sure he slept on his side and cleaned up his throat and stuff. But he was asphyxiating on his vomit.
Yeah,
for sure, right there. Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
You straight up saved that guy's life.
Yep.
Damn,
So
dude.
that was just pure luck, though. You know, like we had luckily all of that happened because if he would have gone back to his dad's, if he wouldn't have said that right when we got to that driveway to go back to my house and call his dad, then he probably would have died in his room.
Yeah. See, I don't have an isolated instance like that. In the case of like I was the person who saved the other person's life, I was part of multiple groups who have been there to save people's lives, right?
Yeah.
Like, so for instance, like at the gym that I used to work at, like people went into cardiac arrest like a few times. I've watched it happen, unfortunately, a few times. Like I remember somebody I knew fell off a balcony at one point, and yeah.
Wait, at
second
the gym?
store? No. Second store at at school. I'm not going to go into much detail because I don't want to put them I don't want to put them out like that. But it was back in 2014, I think, and they fell off a second door balcony and nearly bled out to death. Yeah, I sat out there with them as the ambulance came, and I was like, this person might not survive the night.
God dang, that's scary.
Yeah, everybody in my fraternity will know exactly who I'm talking about, but I do not want to actually put them out there.
Have you ever had your life saved?
No, I don't think I've actually been in a situation where I've had my life saved before either. Like,
I've had mine
just straight
directly saved.
Oh,
for sure. Probably multiple times from there's probably a couple of different stories I could tell for like both kind of things, but both are like saving people's lives and then also getting my life saved that were probably pretty iffy situations, but also not direct. This is direct. So this is like in a pretty easy one to talk about. But this is also kind of hilarious. So I was at a bachelor party in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
My friend JB's bachelor party. And I'm sitting there. I'm next to my friend Pat. And so we're at an Outback eating dinner. eating some
Classiest
ribs.
classiest of places.
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, so I'm eating ribs because I love ribs.
Yeah.
I started choking on one
Oh shit. Okay.
pretty badly. Not technically choking yet, so I still
Mm-hmm.
could kind of breathe, but it's like wedged in there, and it was pretty bad. It's scary.
Yeah.
you know. And so I'm like making noise and stuff, and Pat turns around. Pat's special forces guy.
Okay.
So he turns to me and he's like, hey man, are you right? You right? You choking? You choking? And I was like, no. I shook my head. I was trying to be like, not yet, but I couldn't
Yeah.
really talk that much. And he goes, all right. He's like, drink some water. So I drank some water. The water just literally hit the back of my throat and just shot back out and just completely wedged everything in there.
Jesus.
So I was sitting there. So as soon as that happened, I literally couldn't breathe, and there's no air.
Yeah.
No more air.
Yeah.
So I just stood up like this. I just stood up and I looked over at Pat and I just nodded my head and just waited for him to do the Heimlich maneuver on me because he was special. I figured like he knew what to do.
Yeah.
So I just waited standing there and he just came up behind me. He was like, boom. And then I saw it shoot out of my mouth. And at first I was like, holy shit, that worked. And then he did it again. I was like, no. I was like, stop, it's out. Because I didn't want to, because you hear stories about people breaking ribs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm completely fine.
Yeah.
And he goes, dude, that's the calmest I've ever seen somebody choke. And then like first thing I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, how many people have you seen choke like that? Like,
I
have
mean,
you just
special
like,
forces, man.
I
Who
guess
knows?
so, yeah. So, but I figured that he would know, and like everybody's there, so you're not like your house by yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I figured somebody's gonna save my life.
Yeah. Dude, it's wild. Being in like the heat of things when you're trying to like perform CPR or anything like that is way more wild than people realize half the time. Like oftentimes people don't even realize that you have to straight up break people's sternum in order to like perform at like really good CPR, right? You have to actively just crack through their rib cage.
Yeah.
And it's gnarly. And I remember one time, one of the gym experiences I was telling you about, like the guy woke up and he came back and started howling in pain because, well, his sternum was just shattered.
That's
right?
crazy.
Yeah. And he had just had somebody essentially sledgehammering into his heart.
Oddly, I've never even seen that.
Yeah.
I've never even seen CPR be performed, and I've never had to perform it.
Oh, dude, it's wild.
Either,
I've never had to perform it personally, but I've been like right there as it was happening, and it is fucking wild.
I imagine so.
Yeah, it is very wild. So, and especially like trying to crowd control during that time too. It's like very few things like that. Like I feel,
dude, people react so oddly in
oh, dude, it's so weird.
emergency situations.
It's honestly, one of the things this gives me a little bit of like solace in my life is how I've reacted in the past to emergency situations. I get very like everything suddenly just clicks into place. It's like I took like Adderall in a way, like, right. It's just like everything just suddenly focuses in for me. Like everything becomes very like locked in, which is to me probably a good response.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many people, unfortunately, who are just like, they become like meerkats where they're just like sitting there popping up, like trying to watch everything like it's like an Instagram video, right? Or
I like the analogy.
yeah, right.
Shout out to meerkats everywhere.
Shout out to meerkats everywhere.
No one's the meerkat. No college team's the meerkat. I don't think. It's another one underrepresented.
I was gonna say, yeah,
It's different podcast.
We'll talk about this in another podcast. Yeah, we were discussing how there's a lot of underrepresented animals in the college football or just college mascot world, I think was pretty much it, right?
On a podcast that we also shouldn't have been talking about it.
No,
either.
no, we definitely shouldn't
It's
have.
just a social media and fitness podcast.
We'll get past that.
Yeah.
We won't. That's okay. So yeah, it's that, and like obviously there's also the people that just straight up freak out, right? Like everything becomes an absolute mess. Like they're just panicking. They don't know what to do with themselves. So I consider myself grateful, I guess, that I don't have that type of response because that
for sure
obviously is scary. I don't know if I were to be the one choking, would I panic? Probably more. Yeah, probably. Like than you in that response, like you just stood up and like waited for him to give you the Heimlich.
I think if I was choking at home, I'd probably freak out.
Yeah, I don't know.
By yourself, like that was like the worst.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that'd be scary as hell.
Because then, I'm a very results oriented person, and this sounds really weird. Yeah, but
Curious where you're going with this.
So if I died at home from choking by myself,
Yeah.
that's my fault, and there's nothing that goes with it. Like it's just you're out and it's done.
Just done.
It's the worst, like one of the worst ways to die, I think.
Yeah. It's not a
if you're
glamorous
choking,
die.
yeah, I
It's
mean, neither
glamorous
is choking around people, but at least there's like, I'm in an Outback. There's like 50 people that could have saved me, and if none of them saved me, that is for sure must be my time,
Yeah.
or all those people can go to hell. You know, so
Fair enough.
But Pat didn't even hesitate. He was just like, I stood up, turned, looked at him, nodded once.
Yep.
He stood up and just did it and done.
He knew. He
It
was
was
ready.
crazy. It
He
was
ready.
awesome. It was like we were in a movie or something.
That's
Like it was just like, this is your part. This is my part.
Yeah.
And we just like, here we go. And that was it. It was hilarious.
The rib came out, and there we
Yeah.
go. You were ready to get back to. Did you? I actually, this is a question that I have.
I did continue to eat.
I was gonna say, did you like just, you just finish not dying,
Yeah.
and you're just like, well, back to the ribs.
Yeah, started eating again, drinking.
Did you almost
still.
choke again?
It was a little embarrassing, but I'm not one to get completely embarrassed because everybody
Yeah.
in the dining room saw. So, like, you know how many people are at an Outback. It's not like
course.
you're in your own little thing. We're not in a booth on the side. We're naturally like a big
In the
table.
center?
Cause,
Yeah.
because there's like 15 of us or something. Excuse me. But and the waitresses see and everything. So it's like it's a different experience, different dining experience.
Fair enough.
I'd say.
All right, Mike, hit us with another one.
This I want to hear from Dan for sure. If you were in a witness protection
God.
program, what would your new name be, and where would you go?
I feel like I would name myself after like what Homer Simpson named himself when he changed his name.
Okay.
I call myself Max Power.
Ah, nice.
And then I'll tell you where I'd go.
Yeah.
Right at the people that I'm supposed to be hiding from.
You
There's
go where
no-
they least expect it.
Yeah, if you're going to hide, you hide behind the cat's ears, and then you punch it right in the middle of the head. That's what I say.
That's
Because fuck that cat. Fury mice,
This guy-
also not represented.
this got really. I was about to say really anti-cat podcast really fast.
Hey. It doesn't mean I'm anti-cat.
Okay.
This
is-
cat's
so
not
are
looking
we
for me.
We're a pro cat.
There's
podcast?
lots of people that I possibly would punch in the face.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean I'm a hater of people.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, this cat in particular is looking for me.
I see.
And also just had to be a part of a saying.
Hold on, Mike. Do I get an answer on that one? You already switched, dude.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah,
heck?
no, you get yes.
Okay.
I'm
don't,
just
don't switch that yet because then I can see.
I was
it
gonna
and
say
can see
Dan's
that.
gonna get distracted. You gotta
Dan
know
gets,
how you know. how his
Dan
brain
gets
works.
distracted over anything that's moving.
Yeah, like what is your favorite smell? Victory is up there, so that's easy.
So, I got my name, and it's weird that this came to me so quickly. I'm not proud of how fast it did, and you'll understand why in a second.
I already like this.
Stiletto Fontana. That was
So much. Just knowing. Continue.
it was so rapid. Like
You're
I
never
kid
getting
you-
away from this.
I kid you not. I hope you call me Stiletto Fontana from this point on, because it took me 0.5 seconds to think of that name. It was so immediate that I questioned so many things about myself just now.
Is
So-
that a name you've heard before? or
No, it's
you
just-
randomly generated it in your brain.
randomly generated in my brain. That's just I want everybody to know, if they know me, even to like a slight degree, they know my brain is weird as hell, right? But like this is really like a look on the inside of my brain is how fast I was just like Stiletto Fontana, boom.
That's pretty
it.
awesome.
That's my name.
I actually, while I will make fun of you for this,
Yeah,
I am impressed.
it's good.
It's good.
It's a good name.
It is a good name.
Is it not
For
a
you
fun
too.
name?
I
Yes.
could see you running around with
Still-
what is that? One of those like straight swords, like the rapiers. Yeah, stiletto Fontana. I mean, I guess you could also have a stiletto knife.
Well, there we go. That could be. That's where I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move to Madrid. I'm going to get a rapier, and I'm going to.
You need one of them gloves you can smack
exactly. I'm
people
going
with.
to. Gonna challenge people to duels all the time, and I'm going to fence.
I like it. And then when you
Yes.
get really successful, you don't even
Yeah.
have to slap people with a glove because you'll have like a glove slapper for you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
He's gonna be my. He's gonna be my. What's the steward? I don't know. What's the term I'm
Not
looking for?
steward, not steward. You're looking for squire.
Squire. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Squire. Yes,
yeah.
he's gonna be my squire, and he's gonna challenge
Yeah,
people.
call him an assault
and
squire.
smack them with the glove, and I'll be like, "Come on, duel, Stiletto Fontana."
What's his name?
I didn't have it as quick. I don't
Tinky
know.
Gallagher. Old Tinky.
Tinky
He's coming up
Gallagher.
slapping you right in the face. I think.
Tinky Gallagher. That's
Stiletto
yes.
Fontana. We're writing a book.
was gonna say,
No
this
more
is good.
podcasts. We're going
Yeah.
into books right now. New project.
Oh man, I promise we're not drunk people. It might
I'm working
seem
on
like
it.
we're- Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
my
say.
second high noon. Speaking
no-
of duels,
hey, no
that's when
free-
you would do it.
No free ads. No free ads. They haven't paid us yet.
This is my low dawn, low dusk,
Yes. Yeah.
low midnight.
Yeah.
That would be the opposite.
There we go. All right. Are we next? Going on? Moving
We're,
on?
we're next.
We're next.
We get to
we got
speak
the next?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got the next one.
That's nah.
Yeah.
Do you have a good one for this?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, worst job I've ever had. Yo, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'll be pretty quick with it.
Okay. I don't have a good one for this.
So I got out of the fitness industry for a short time because my son was born. I needed to make more money because I was the only income in the house. So one of my friends in the fitness industry for a job that I had before got into a company selling gutters.
Oh.
Yeah. So got into Leaf Guard, shitty company. So I don't care about blowing them up.
Okay.
So essentially you get 15% commission. That's it. So like nothing for your gas, nothing for anything.
Ooh.
15% commission on everything that you sell.
Okay.
Right. So sometimes it would be, I would drive 1,000 miles per week.
That's
Because I was a new person. So like they would just put me wherever. And so you had appointments at 9, noon, 3, and 5 or 6.
That's insane.
Yeah. So I think they were all just 3 hours. So I think it was 9, noon. So you could have that many. Sometimes you'd have 2 appointments or whatever.
Yeah.
At first it was cool because you always had appointments, but I drove all over West Virginia. I would come down into DC. I'd be all over Northern Virginia. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was stupid. I happened to be pretty good at it. So I sold pretty well. But sometimes it would be weak. Like you wouldn't sell for 2 weeks.
That's insane.
Yeah, so you make $0 and you drive 2,000 miles.
Yeah.
So then you're spending all that money on gas and stuff.
course.
And it's just like, and it's like wrecks your body from driving so much. And it was so high pressure. Even that still wasn't terrible until they decided to switch something without telling us. And it really screwed up all of our appointments and also where the appointments were. So then all of a sudden, I would have these appointments and no one would be there. So I'd go, because they changed to an automatic voice thing, like an automatic call. So like, if I call you and I say, hey, Alec, are you gonna, this is Leaf Guard, I'm calling you about the gutters. Like, and it's a warm lead, so you already reached out to us. And
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm just confirming for da-da-da, and I get to talk to you, whatever. You're probably gonna talk to me,
Yeah.
right? Especially because you did that. If it's an automatic thing, as soon as an automatic thing happens, what do? Hang up.
Yeah.
Before you even know what it is, it's just like, hello, and you're like, goodbye. And so you don't even know what it is. So that would happen. People wouldn't change their appointments. So then a lot of times I go to houses where people weren't after I drove for like an hour and a half to get there or whatever. And then you have just to go to the next appointment. So you have all this free time. And then if no one's there, then you make no money that day. And then also the appointments like made no sense logistically. Like I had to be in somewhere in West Virginia past Martinsburg and everything. And then after that, so that at 9 o'clock, then be south of DC in Fort Washington. Which is like
Yeah, I was about to say
2.5 hours away.
Yikes.
At 12, there's no way for me to even do anything in the appointment. I could literally just go from one, touch the house, and then go to the next. Like tag, time to get down to Fort Washington.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it became terrible, and I wasn't making any money, so I ended up quitting. But it was like no one cared about.
How long did you last there? How long did this go on?
I held it out for like 3 months.
Yeah, okay, I was about to say.
Yeah,
That
it
seems like
was
a 3
really stressful too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds legit awful.
And the only way to get gas money is you'd have to go, you would have to like write it into the contract.
Okay.
So I would be at your house and be like, all right, I'm coming up with your quote. And then there's like this gas part, and I would have to put down gas if I
you'd
wanted
have
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not supposedly part of the thing.
Oh, okay. So you'd essentially be like, "Hey, could you spot me gas to these
Right,
people
without being
actually
like
asking?"
Yeah. And so it was shitty. And even then,
rough.
it wouldn't have been so bad if once I sold you gutters, a lot of times the people wouldn't show up to put the gutters on. A lot of times they would F up your house or the gutters, and then they would call me, and then I just feel terrible
Yeah,
because I'm like,
you were just the one selling, but
Right.
they would call you thinking that it was.
And that was what they were like, all you have to do is sell. You don't have to worry about anything else after that. And I'm like, yes, I do, because I sold that to somebody, and like they're literally paying me to do this.
You're
And
customer service representative at that point, man.
Right.
Yeah, you are the person representing.
that's my
their service.
relationship.
Yeah.
You know, so then I felt really shitty about that. So I even had people call me months and months afterwards. Somebody called me a full year afterwards.
Yeah.
And I just tried to help them out because I was like, I don't work there anymore, but here's the things that you can do.
Yeah.
And then I also found out that it's probably not even worth it because they're so expensive. You could change your gutters 3 times over before you met the price that Leaf Guard charged for those crazy gutters that they have.
God, that's awful, man.
It is awful.
Okay, well,
Yeah, so
there we go. We had one.
Yeah.
I had nothing in particular bad. So, oh God,
that's hard.
dude, that's
Since people can't.
that's a thinker. Yeah, so people can't actually. So I'll say it out loud. What's the weirdest dream you've ever had? Is the question. I'm gonna pass on this one.
I'm gonna
Dan,
pass on this
yeah,
one too.
I was
I
gonna
can't
say.
remember any of my dreams.
I feel like I could probably think of one, but I don't have anything good off the top of my head.
And I think everybody's got weird dreams. I
So
don't
there's
think
some
that's anything
dreams.
new.
Yeah, there might be also some dreams. I'm just like, do I like even want to talk about that on air? Not really.
Yeah.
Sure, you do.
No. We're moving on.
I had a dream that I was eating a sandwich the other day while I was in the space, by the way, and I was asleep. I only slept for 5 minutes, which is also kind of weird. So I slept on those mats.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, and I could hear Jules and Jenna talking,
Okay.
and I was like, so for some reason I thought in the middle of sleeping, because I only fell asleep for a short period of time. I was eating a sandwich, and then I also thought that my mouth was moving while I was like my real person mouth was moving. So then I thought they would think that's weird, and then
Yeah.
I woke up and I was like, what? And it was very confusing. So
Well,
continue.
that was good. At least we acknowledged the dream question. Who's your first celebrity crush? This is honestly Halle Berry for me. That was my first one. Yeah.
Do you have
The,
any explanation?
It was from the James Bond movie that she was in.
Okay, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that was pretty much. I can't remember exactly which one. It was with Pierce Brosnan back in the Pierce Brosnan James Bond days. I don't remember which. Is World? Or
The World Is Not Enough.
World's Not Enough. I can't remember. Mike.
Mike,
give
look
us
that up.
Give us a little help on this one. Whatever James Bond movie Halle Berry was in. I just remember I was like, I was like, okay, yeah.
I have a weird take on this. I've never really had a celebrity crush. So like, there's definitely celebrities I've looked at and be like, wow, she's really pretty or whatever, or maybe possibly cool or whatever. But I don't know. Like they just seem, I will never meet them. And for me, a big part of attraction is personality and like how I see them treat other people and how they would treat me. And if I can't see that, it's just like all fake stuff. It's never.
So I guess the definition of this is, I guess in my mind, is a little different, right? Because like crush to me was just like I was attracted to them, right? I was
well,
like
it's a bunch of. I can't remember.
Like I was just like immediately attracted to them. So it wasn't like I had like I'm gonna go out of my way to try and like meet them type of crush.
Yeah.
You know, like you see those girls who like follow
Right.
around.
But see, people have legitimate, like, huge
See,
crushes.
that's crazy to me. That
That's
makes
crazy to
zero
me, too.
sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, that makes zero. Let's continue on to this. Mike, do you
it's
have that
also-
info, by the way? Ooh,
Die Another Day.
Die Another
she
Day,
played
okay.
Jinx.
cool. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I also think it's, I also think it's weird because I think it's like if somebody has like a crush they talk about all the time on screen. To me, like I don't care if it doesn't. There's no jealousy to me if somebody's like, holy shit, that guy's attractive or whatever. Like that doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
But if somebody has like a legit crush on somebody, they talk about that all the time. To me, it's almost like a red flag. Like they can get obsessed with something that's not real.
So I think
Continue.
I was gonna say I think it's because they're getting obsessed with the idea of the person, right? They put that idea of who that person is in their head, right? And like I'm just gonna project my own ideas onto like millions of people here right now, but like all of those girls who like flock to see like the boy bands and stuff like that back in the 90s and early 2000s and all of that stuff, right? I think they would get obsessed with like the idea of those guys, right?
Right.
And like they would become like so infatuated with just like the idea of like being with them, right? And like these are all like teenage girls, like right, they're young, their hormones are raging like crazy, like
Right.
they have no idea what's going on with their own body at this point probably, and so they're just like, you know what, I don't even know what this type of attraction even is supposed to feel like, so they get this idea in their head and then they go crazy and it just festers. And
I think if you're a teenage guy or girl, that's different. But I've definitely dated people that were adults that had this, and I felt like, and this is not why whatever, but like some of the same issues that they would have,
yeah,
other people that I dated were like that had the same kind of thing. So I wonder if there's like I'm not a psychologist by any means, but I wonder if there is like that, if that's a part of something, some kind of issue or some kind of like personality or something.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it is. So I'm not saying it's definitive or whatever. I've just noticed some things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, it kind of comes up as a little bit of a red flag.
It's an interesting one. So I think once again, it comes down to like, wait, why would you be obsessed with a celebrity? There's, first of all, like you can be attracted to somebody.
Yeah.
Right. Like I get that. That makes sense. Like you see somebody on screen and you're like, oh my God, that person's really attractive. Right. That makes sense.
For sure.
But like you also see plenty of attractive people outside of screens too. Like I would say I've seen more attractive people or people that I'm really attracted to off of screens than I've seen on screens in my life. Would you say the same?
I don't know. I've never
like think about
never
it.
done
a
a count.
If you've like you don't have to count that much really, but
I've
like,
had more of a crush on people off screen.
oh for sure. Like,
Yeah, that's
I would hope
definite
so.
because again, like attraction to me, there's a lot of things that go into it.
Yeah.
As far as just looks wise, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's fair to do because like people on screen, they spend time for that shot.
Yeah,
to
of
look
course.
as good as possible. You know what I'm saying? So that's also why I don't think.
Yeah.
That's why I also don't attach anything to that because I've also seen. I feel like to be attractive on screen or in pictures.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange because there's models that I've seen that I'm just like, no offense to them, but I'm just like, that's not super attractive at all. But on screen or in pictures, they look really attractive. Mm-hmm. But off of that, I'm like, that's not even close to the person that's on there. You know what I'm saying? Like that always sticks in my mind.
No, I know
too,
what you're saying.
I don't know.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's tough for me to even say. I can't even remember. Yeah. There's not one that sticks out for me.
There's girls with like that.
So maybe I'm still looking for my first celebrity crush.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
Anybody that wants to reach out, say, I want to be Dan's first celebrity crush.
Yes, please.
Everybody's just lining up.
Yep. It's atpodcast@gmail.com, I believe, if you want to email us. And if you're interested in being Dan's first celebrity crush. So any celebrities out there listening to this, give us a heads up. All right. Mike, generate that question. Let's I feel like just pass on this one. I don't know.
I feel like you're taking an easy way out.
I think passing is a good idea.
All right.
I mean, my answer is pretty simple. So the question is, date someone older or younger? I'm gonna go ahead and say younger.
Yeah, I probably would say.
Also, my girlfriend's younger than me, so I feel like that's a nice
Mine
safe
is too.
answer. Yeah.
So, but I would say the reason I would say younger is for pretty much the only reason, and this is not at 100%. This is just like if you were like, all right, older and younger right now, what would you do? I'd be like, all right, well, younger.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah,
if I was single, I'd probably I'd definitely say the same thing.
Because I've known some girls older than me that were super cool and amazing. However, it does. I feel like a lot of people. This goes with my friends too, like friends that I went to high school with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So guys and girls, I feel like a lot of times as people start to get older, they become jaded. They start to have some insecurities pop up that maybe weren't there before, and you start to find a lot of people that didn't really grow.
Yeah.
On the flip side, some people just like almost like grew too mature for me. And I have a fairly immature brain, so I like to have like people that like to like joke around.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Fun.
Like,
have fun.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to play video games and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
I
don't
get
mean
that.
like a ton younger or anything, but so we're not being creepy here.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
I mean, it's I think so. I think our girlfriends are the same age, right? 27.
Yes.
Okay, we're just gonna throw this out there on live. So sorry, girls. But yeah, okay. So yeah, but I kind of see what you're saying, and I think I empathize with that. Right? Is that it's one of those things where like if I were to let's say
Haven't people heard us talk already? We're obviously not super mature.
no, I was gonna say I have bits and pieces of me. I try really hard to be mature sometimes, but
I've seen it.
yeah,
I've seen you try.
it's the best you're gonna get out of me sometimes is a good old fashioned college try. I think also like if we're talking older, even like I don't know, for me I'm 29. If you were to ask me if I want to date like a 45-year-old, I'd probably say no. I think it's very like much like a guy girl thing too, right? Because a lot of girls I think would say they'd be 100% cool with saying older. Like that's like a very like.
Well, I think guys mature later than girls.
They do, yeah.
So I think that's also part of it. So that's probably why because we probably aren't as mature as our age would say compared to human beings, and then we're probably not even as mature as most guys our age.
Yeah.
So that would probably be part of the younger response, and then like girls mature faster than guys, so they want somebody that is caught up with them, so they usually have to look older. You know, again, there's exceptions to all rules.
Of course,
Just
yeah.
saying
It's
in general,
not
in general.
Yeah, but it seems to be the trend. I would say is that it tends to be guys will end up dating a little younger and girls will end up dating a little older more often. If there's like an age gap at least, right? Okay, let's go ahead and let's continue on. Okay, the question is, what's something you always wanted to do as a child but never got to do it? Oh man. There's a lot of things. There's so many things. I wanted to play football so badly.
I wanted to play football so badly.
My mom wouldn't let me play football. And for ridiculous reasons, I wanted to play when I was in 8th grade. And I was playing hockey at the time. And it's really not ridiculous when you think about it. She was just concerned with my safety, right? And which is understandable, but I also like
made you, and then you got to play a safe sport like hockey.
Yeah, exactly. That's I think that was
fight and stab
that
people
was
with skates.
the fun part. Was I was just like, Mom, I'm playing hockey. I remember like I got a concussion like that next year, like a bad concussion too. Like hockey was not a sport where you're like, hey, I don't want you dabbling in that football stuff. Yeah, right. Not as bad that time though. No, I'm about to say I kind of went into it. Yeah.
True.
I don't want you playing a dangerous game like football, but try hockey out. See how that works for you.
Yeah.
And I always gave my mom crap for this, and I still do to this day. But, you know, as somebody who ended up playing football a little bit later for a janky semi-pro team, which I've talked about before, I can definitely see, like, football is more dangerous than hockey. Like, especially, I would say the older you get, right?
Well, you're also looking at, I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah.
But I will say one of the most dangerous sports in the world is semi-pro football.
That's true, yes.
Because of the crazy differences in ability, seriousness, and knowledge on the field. Like if you're going to play college football at whatever level, most players, I'm not saying all, obviously you have your exceptions, but most players are within some realm of ability level, knowledge level, and seriousness.
Yeah.
Semi-pro is not like that. It's like you rolled dice and started just generating characters.
Oh yeah, I was for the sixes that we had, like the guys who played at University of Oregon, there was a couple of ones on the right dice roll like me.
Yeah.
Like I was the one.
I thought you were the one.
I was the snake eyes. I was just like, oh,
they call me Snake Eyes.
they called me Stiletto Fontana.
That's true. And then what was his name? Tippy Long. What was it? Tippy.
I don't even remember at this point. That's bad.
Tinky Gallagher.
Tinky Gallagher. There we go. That was
Tinky.
Tinky. It was Tinky. It was Tinky Gallagher. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. This is recorded. You know.
It is. Yeah, we can listen back to it and figure it out.
I would say I did always want to play football, but I ended up I think I had some friends playing lacrosse, and at first I didn't play because I had super thick glasses, and I just thought like a helmet wasn't gonna work on them.
There you go.
Yeah, it was like really thick glasses.
Nice.
Second time my vision has come up in this conversation, but then my sophomore year I got contacts, and then I started playing lacrosse.
Yeah.
So I guess I never really thought about, but it's something I would have liked to play.
It's still wild to me. Like I just can't wrap my head sometimes around how popular lacrosse is out here, because like just the idea of somebody deciding to play lacrosse over any sport for me when I was growing up made zero sense. Like lacrosse was literally an afterthought sport in
What
Seattle.
did most people play in Seattle?
Well, that's the thing is like the big sports in Seattle were probably like basketball was probably the biggest,
That's
right?
a winter sport.
Yeah, but I mean it's like mostly sports that you can play. Well, I won't even say like play like inside, right? Because yeah, it's raining a lot, quote unquote. It doesn't rain as much as people think. It's just cloudy, but like soccer is huge in Seattle too.
That's a fall. Well, I guess it's not a fall sport for you guys, though, right?
Well, I mean, it's if you're talking about high school season, it was spring. High school season was spring, but like club season was
See,
year
that's
round.
wild because high school season for us is fall.
No, I know, I've heard, yeah.
I wonder what.
So I just
makes that happen.
just lacrosse just wasn't big, man. It just wasn't. It's just like the only people that I knew who played lacrosse were like guys who I played hockey with who were on their off season for hockey. They're just doing it in the meantime, like when they were younger. And even then it wasn't that big. Like we didn't, it was so small of a sport that our rival high school and my high school had to join together to like co-create a team.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And it still wasn't like technically sponsored by the school, and they like had to play like a bunch of other like mismanaged.
So do they get like an abomination kind of mascot? Like two animals sewn together?
Well, it was
like there's like, is that how you get like a griffin?
So it was
something?
the Roosevelt Rough Riders was our rival, and
you guys
we were
were
the Ballard Beavers. So it would have been a
Oh man, that is like
yeah,
it's like get a zombie beaver.
A horse beaver combo. Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
yeah, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, that's another thing I don't feel like represented, like mutations, abominations. Like they're
Not enough mutations out there.
I was gonna say they're human too, but maybe not human, but like they should be represented.
That's fair. That's a good point. That's good.
They're getting created,
Talking
whether
about
it's in a
school-
lab or wherever. They need to be represented.
School mascots.
As a school
I'm
mascot.
assuming you're talking about school mascots, right?
Of course I am.
Okay, yeah. You just went kind of into mutation, and I'm just like, I think he's talking about mascots, but we're gonna keep going. All right.
They need an advocate, and I'll tell you this: I'm willing to be that advocate.
Everybody needs an advocate. Thanks.
That's what I'm saying.
They thank you. I'm going to, as the non-representative for mutated mascots.
That's how I'm going to start
say
my my mayoral campaign. Right? Mayoral.
Yes, yeah, that's good.
So-
Mayoral campaign.
Yeah, that's going to be like my start in politics.
Mike, hit me with a question.
Yeah, hit him.
TV show you secretly enjoy.
You have one.
Oh,
I guarantee.
100%.
I guarantee. I know. Just even knowing you, I know that you have
I have
like
like
a guilty
7.
pleasure.
I have like
Yes, that
7
makes
guilty
perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
The Bachelorette.
Okay, let's hold on. I want you to dive into this a little bit more.
Yeah.
You were so quick to the draw
Yeah.
on that statement. I have to know what about me makes me feel like a guilty pleasure TV show guy. Like, how did you come up with that so quickly?
That's a tough question.
That's the toughest question I've asked all night.
I feel like maybe if I just knew you, I wouldn't. But for some reason, once I hire somebody,
Yeah.
it's almost like it unlocks most of their secrets,
Okay,
and then I just feel like I know them really well.
interesting. And so you just see me as a guilty
not
pleasure
wrong.
TV guy. No, you're not. But like I didn't realize I gave off that vibe.
You do.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could even put that into words. I'd have to think about that.
That's
a
really
little bit.
interesting. Yeah.
But let's
I'm
talk
curious.
about your guilty
No,
pleasures.
no.
here.
I want it. Let's do this even better. Let's have more fun with this. I want you to try and guess my guilty pleasure. Let's guess my number one guilty pleasure
Number one
TV show.
There's so
Maybe
many
you can have a few guesses. Right?
I'm also
But,
not a
like,
big TV show person. I will say
I'll say it's on Netflix.
I
if that
think- I
narrows it
think,
down enough for you. You were
It's
gonna
on
point at
Netflix.
Mike. Yeah.
Well, I could see you watching one of the ones that Mike's talking about, like a
what's Mike
Bachelorette
talking
or like some kind of.
Oh, dude, I've never watched The Bachelor or Bachelorette in my life. We did in one of the previous like series of episodes for
Oh,
this.
no, I can see
we
that
watched
shit.
Love is Blind. I can't stand that stuff.
Yeah,
I did watch The
that's-
Real World a couple of times. It was awful.
I
I
don't
did that
think
when
you
I was a
like-
kid.
yeah.
It's just not, that kind of stuff isn't for me. No.
No, we would need like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could. You'd have to get here. Here's this. Here's
Okay,
this. All
yeah.
right. You're gonna hide one guilty pleasure in 5 TV shows.
Okay, so you want me to essentially say 5 TV shows?
Yeah,
and
and
you get
one
to
of them's
guess?
gonna be a guilty pleasure.
Okay. All right. Grey's Anatomy.
All right.
New Girl. Friends.
All right. It's only one of these.
Yeah.
Okay. It's New Girl.
You're sitting there like well, okay, you've already guessed it.
Yeah, though that's not
Yeah.
fair though because
Yeah.
that's a good show. Also.
New Girl is yeah.
Well, because you had already talked about it, so I knew that.
Oh, okay.
I knew that you knew that.
Crap.
That one does make sense for you.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely my like guilty pleasure.
I don't know if that's that guilty though.
Is it?
I think that if you have never watched it
Yeah.
at all, then it sounds like a ridiculous show. But if you watch it, it's a good show.
See, I'm a big sitcom guy.
Yeah.
I've watched some really bad sitcoms out there.
Give me a bad one that you enjoyed.
Oh, dude, the NASCAR one that's on Netflix.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, dude, there's a NASCAR sitcom with Paul Blart Mall Cop. I can't remember his actual name.
I know
He's
who
the
you're talking
King of
about.
Queens.
Yeah.
That guy.
He can be pretty good.
Yeah, what's his name? God, okay.
Mike?
Yeah, we're gonna find that out. Anyways, it might come to me before. Anyways, it was awful. Just grade A, terrible.
And you finished it?
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing. But anything NASCAR does crack me up.
It just you barely saw racing. Kevin James. Thank you. Yeah, you like there was very little racing related stuff actually. No, that's not true. There was a lot of it just didn't make any sense to me.
Just the world of NASCAR though is pretty hilarious.
It might be. I don't know how well it represented
Why
the
did
world
you
of
like
NASCAR.
about this show?
Dude, it was just a shitty sitcom. I just like shitty sitcoms. I don't know why. Like that 70s show isn't really shitty, but like
That's a really good.
It's a great sitcom, but it's still a
Right.
sitcom. Like I used to love that 70s
But
show.
you in lots of America.
Yeah. Dude, the George Lopez show, that was awful.
That was awful.
And then
You like that one?
I mean, I would watch it on Nick at Night. Like, actually, I was just having this conversation. I was having this conversation the other day about how I would wake up all the time, and you would just hear doon 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 doon. It'd be like 3 a.m. and you'd be like, "Oh shit, George Lopez! Holy fuck!
Time to be up.
This is the 5th time I've woken up to you this week."
Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's just I would fall asleep on the couch watching like something, and I would wake up and it'd be fucking Nick at Night. It's like it would magically just pop over to George Lopez every time, and I'd be like, "Why the fuck is it always George Lopez?" It's just,
Yeah, but wait. Did you watch Did you watch it, or was it just pop up?
I would watch it sometimes. If I'm being honest, I'd watch it sometimes.
Now, next, Wolf Dog.
Wolf Dog's awake. Oh God, that is
That's a weird face.
that is a weird face.
I thought she was gonna get one of those aliens.
Oh,
pop
she's
out.
yawning. She's yawning. Yeah, that's right. Okay, good.
Oh wait, so
yeah,
no.
continue.
The next question would be, did you watch it? Like you were like, I'm gonna watch George Lopez, or it's on, and I'm gonna watch it, or did you wake up out of bed, hear that, and be like, I'm gonna watch a little bit of George Lopez?
Pretty much. So yes is the answer
To all of those?
So I think there'd be times where I would like sit down and watch the George Lopez show and like not have just woken up. But there would also be many more times. This is the much more frequent answer.
Dude, I love this podcast.
Is I would definitely just wake up and like it'd be 4 o'clock in the morning and I would just be sitting there like I could watch an episode of George Lopez.
I could do an episode. I could do one. I have time.
And it would take me about 10 minutes to fall asleep again. And like it would be a repeated cycle. But by the time I would wake up again, it would be like 7 in the morning or 6 in the morning or something.
Do you think you've watched like many whole episodes of George Lopez?
I don't think I've ever watched a full episode of George
See, I
Lopez.
wouldn't even count that then.
Really? Because I feel like the intent to watch is still there.
The intent to watch, but there's also like, it's not like you looked it up and you're like, this sounds like a good show. Or like you were looking on it and be like, George Lopez is my selection. It sounds like it was on and then you were watching it.
I'm saying from like a prosecutor standpoint that like the intent was there. So if I were to prosecute myself, I would say the intent was there and I deserve to be.
I put you on
into-
probation.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, PBJ.
Okay.
For you.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, don't fuck up again now.
Okay. You on the other hand seem like you're not a guilty pleasure TV show guy at all.
No.
Like you're just a video game guy.
Yeah, I'm a video game
You're a
guy.
video
and I
game
do
guy.
have guilty pleasures, video games
Yeah.
too. I
Right.
currently play Pokemon Unite.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, it's a Pokemon game.
Well, thanks. I got that far, but What is it? Pokemon Go? Is it not?
No. I did play Pokemon Go, and
Okay.
also I started playing Pokemon Go on a vacation while I was in Virginia Beach. Liked it when I first started playing it, and then I was like, I'm buying stock in it. So I bought stock in Nintendo. Then I sold the stock partway through the vacation and made like $300. So I made some vacation money on Pokemon Go.
How long was this vacation?
Like 5 days.
Nintendo shot up that. Was this like was this when
right away? Yeah,
Pokemon Go just started?
Just started.
That makes sense. Then. Okay. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I'm like, that's a huge shoot up.
Dude,
for such a
Nintendo
small amount of
spiked
time.
when Pokemon Go came out.
Yeah.
But I was just
That
like
makes
looking at it, I was
sense.
like, dude, people are going to play this for forever. People are
Yeah.
going to play this for a long time. And they still play it now.
Guilty pleasure. It's not really a show, but just I'm admitting something that I'm not proud of. Is my dad and my stepmom both love to play Pokemon Go, and yeah, I'm gonna call them out on this. It's hilarious. My brother and I make fun of them all the time for it. They still to this day play Pokemon Go religiously, and it's the funniest thing in the world.
That's hilarious that they still play. But I can see why it's enticing. Like, the only reason, honestly, that I stopped playing it is because it was the same.
Yeah.
I don't like things, like if I play a game and I'm like, all right, I see how I could get really good at this game, or I could see how I would win this game or like dominate or whatever, I'll stop playing.
Okay.
Because I want it to be complicated. So either like every instance is different and I'm constantly like doing something like competing against other people, whatever. And I know you can compete in Pokemon, but it's all the same. Like it's all the same all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So I like things that like with more complicated rules and like each instance is different. And like I like games like that where I'm not sure what the results are going to be, and that I come against like opponents that have much higher skill level, but then there's like a huge range of skill levels because everybody looks at the games differently. So I play a lot of games like that.
Okay.
Which-
So I have a different question for you though. Is if you were to I guess essentially what would be the most embarrassing game that you've ever played?
I've ever played
Yeah, like religiously, or something that you played like a lot.
a lot.
Yeah, not just like tried once or twice, like something that you played a lot. Like, what's the most
Not
embarrassing one?
I guess embarrassing because I never played either one of those games
Okay.
a lot. Jeez, man.
Hitting you with the hard ones. I know.
That is I would say but it would be probably any of the like Dungeons and Dragons type games.
Okay.
I love those kind of games.
Okay.
I love them. I don't currently right now, but I would. And did play earlier this summer in actual like in-person Dungeons and Dragons.
That doesn't
whatever you would
surprise
call
me.
it.
Yeah. Like, I think it's just
I
called
love that
playing
stuff.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's like, I am I'll admit it to the entire world. I'm a huge closet nerd. Like,
So am I.
used to play
Big time.
Magic the Gathering when I was a kid.
I have a ton of Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh, you still do?
We're gonna be friends.
Yeah, right. Do we just become best friends? Yup. You still do. That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't played in forever. I
haven't either.
gave my cards to my neighbor's kid. Like
I did recently
so
download
long
though
ago.
a couple months ago. It wasn't very good, but I did download a Magic video game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they have lots of spin-offs. It sucked though, but
Yeah, I play Hearthstone once. I'll
I
get
played
really
Hearthstone
into
for
it.
a while.
Yeah, that was fun. That's for everybody who doesn't know what that is. That's the Blizzard card game that's like based on the Warcraft world, which is my most embarrassing game. I'll admit is I used to play World of Warcraft off and on.
Yeah,
Like really off and on.
that'd be like one of the ones that's like like the stereotype.
Yeah.
one
I
that
had
people
a-
think about.
I had a really bad month during the pandemic where my roommate, my old roommate used to play, like he still plays all the time. I know that because I would go on Hearthstone. I could see that he's logged in.
That's awesome.
Shout out to you, Kyle.
Let's call him straight out.
Right. I was going to say, I'll call him out for it. He doesn't care.
I'm sure.
But I decided in the month of, I want to say it was June. During the pandemic, I'm gonna get back into World of Warcraft, and he and I just played so much because I was
That's awesome,
I was
though.
still furloughed this entire time. Like I
Right.
had no idea where my job situation was gonna be. I was planning on moving out here at that point already, but like I still knew I wasn't leaving until August, so I was just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
Right. I was as I said, still furloughed. So my job was just hanging there. And
we played a shit ton of video games over that over the pandemic for sure. Me, Luke, and Bob and Hendy sometimes would be on until 4 a.m.
Hey, I don't.
Because what else are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, if it wasn't honestly for this podcast, right? Like this podcast was taking up like a full-time job worth of stuff for me, right? Because I don't have the equipment that Mike does, or the knowledge, or the ability.
Yeah.
So,
I get that.
yeah. So, so pretty much, that was, there you go. All those compliments, Mike. There you go. And so me having to like try and makeshift my way through everything was essentially a full-time job for myself, and like coordinating everything as well. But like in my spare time, when I wasn't just like walking or traveling or doing something, I would try to like get out and about as often as possible. But I was, for June. And I remember the funniest thing was it was only June, because I was just like, this cannot be my life anymore.
Yeah.
I got so frustrated because I did a raid with a bunch of people. And I remember I was so shitty. I was so bad. And people were just shitting on me the entire time. And I was just like, why? I was sitting there for 3 hours. People were just yelling at me every 10 minutes. And I was just like, this was the most miserable experience of my entire life. I never want to be back in this. And so I just stopped. I stopped playing. I was just like, I'm done. I'm done.
It's so crazy how toxic some of those video game communities are.
Oh, they're awful.
But yeah, some of them are. Some of them are great though. Like there's a couple of video games I would play where I still have friends to this day. They're on it. And like we used to play some video games together in college, like a bunch of us. And then I met those people in real life. It was pretty hilarious because you'd meet them at bars or like somebody's party, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're whatever," and they just say your screen name. Like, yeah. And then we just start drinking beers together, and it was cool. I probably had about a month like that. All you had to do was like, you just play video games, try to create business ideas, read, and work out.
Yeah, that's all I did. Dude, what I did, I did the podcast, I meditated, I read.
I did start meditating over that, because otherwise I would have gone crazy.
I was about to say, I started meditating a few years ago, but like I started really diving into meditation during the pandemic. Like I had been off and on about it for a while, using a few different apps and stuff, but like the pandemic was when I really started like locking into meditation. But
do you still do it?
Oh yeah.
See, I need to get back to it. I feel like it's something that's so important. It almost makes like no tangible difference until you think about things afterwards, and you think about it like, actually, dude, I did feel pretty good throughout the day, and I didn't react to anything. Like I was like, maybe it does make a huge difference.
I would be a mess without it. I have high anxiety.
Yeah,
like high levels of anxiety. And if it wasn't for, I mean, I do take prescription medication for it as well, which I'm totally cool with admitting onto the podcast.
Well, obviously, just did.
That, I
think a lot of people do.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
And people
right?
I think that's also a good thing that, like, you saying that is also a good thing that's happening. I think throughout the country, is more people are taking care of their mental health and much more upfront about stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, I've never had, within the past 2 years, I've had a bunch of people come up to me that I've, like, past 2-3 years, so even like big commercial gyms, I've had a bunch of people come up to me like, hey, I'm actually going to therapy, so these days I'm not available, or these times I'm not available. Hey, just so you know, I'm taking this kind of medication, so this and this might happen. I'm like, it's kind of weird that you're telling me the side effects of your medication, but I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I don't say that to them, but it's like, but they were like, they were worried so much about like even just side effects of it, which I thought was cool. Yeah. I was like, I'm not sure I like specifically need to know this, but it's really awesome that somebody's willing to share all that stuff.
Yeah, people are getting more open. Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's a big thing, especially among men, I would say.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because that's like been a stigma for a long time. Yep. And I think especially these like, well, I don't even know what generations or whatever, but a lot of people from teenage years to probably probably like, I wouldn't even say probably like 30s, mid 30s, are really starting to admit a lot of stuff and like going to therapy, and like that's a regular thing. People talk to each other about the therapist and stuff like that, which I think is cool.
I mean, that's the thing, man, is that for such a long time, dude, it was like that man up mentality,
Yeah.
right? Like you're getting sad or mad or blah, 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 blah about something, right? It's man up, like just hold it in and keep it in.
Yeah.
And that destroyed people's mental health, right?
Yeah, then you have people
So-
committing suicide and
Yep.
beating their wives and like doing all sorts of crazy shit.
Exactly.
You
And
know,
that's,
so-
and we definitely don't want any of that. So it's,
No.
yeah, big,
Go talk to somebody.
that's what I would say. So basically, the pandemic did a really good job of slowing down life for me in that fashion and allowed me to meditate a lot, which was nice. And I also got like oh man, dude, I miss this all the time. Sometimes I think about it still. So where I was living at the time I was really close to a beach, and so I was like walking distance. So I would actually I would walk down about like 3/4 of a mile down a hill from the condo that I was living in, and so I would get to the edge of the beach, or the edge of the entrance, I should say, to the park where the beach was. And then they would have these benches where you could just see over. It was pretty high up on the hill.
Yeah.
And so you could look over the entire Puget Sound, right? And so I just remember I would go there so often, like pretty much maybe not every day, but at least 5 times a week I would walk down there and I would sit there and meditate sometimes. I would just sit there and hang out. I would read a lot down there in front of the water, and it was just, the breeze was nice, and it was during the summer too, right? And that's the best time in the Pacific Northwest. It's beautiful. Like the sun's shining and it's just like the weather's perfect. And so I just like, it just became my spot. And then like I just essentially explored as much as I could in the surrounding areas. I would just walk everywhere. I would just go, and then sometimes like I would actually go drive places as well and explore around the Pacific Northwest a little bit more too. I did this like solo trip in Oregon where I just like went around a bunch of places that I had just picked and randomly decided to go to outside of Portland, which were fun. But yeah, man, it slowed everything down a lot, and it was good. And yeah, it's but yeah, if you suffer from anxiety, this, I guess what I'm getting from, this is interesting. We're coming to the close of this podcast, and it's kind of interesting that this is kind of how we're wrapping up slowly based on where we started.
Well, it does make sense that we've now made it to mental health.
Yeah, right.
With the two of us talking
I was gonna say.
right now.
Yeah, and but if you suffer from anxiety, know that you're not alone on that one. I mean, it's really like I wish I could tell people, but like there were times in my life where it was debilitating.
Yeah.
Dude. It was
I think
bad.
a lot of people have had that.
Yeah.
I certainly have had.
Yeah.
Especially like my biggest issue was always the morning time.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mornings were just for probably like, I mean, the pandemic didn't help a lot, but like probably for like 2 years, I spent like every morning was like almost debilitating anxiety, and I had to start doing stuff, and sometimes I didn't.
It's not
You know,
fun.
stop doing stuff.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I say let's go ahead and wrap it up with one more question. That was aggressively loud.
I'm aggressively loud.
We know. All right. What's the worst thing you ever did as a child, and what was your punishment? Dude, that's gonna be a tough one. That feels like that's gonna continue like another 30 minutes of conversation.
So the worst thing. Wait, am I answering this? Are we answering this?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it away.
So I would say that you got caught for.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
about to say I don't think I want to admit some of the things that I
neither.
didn't get caught.
All right. So
Yeah.
so this one time we went to my friend's house. Actually, I just did a birthday video for his mom. So she just turned 70. And
Do you
I
really want to admit this on the podcast?
No, I put it in her birthday video
Oh,
because
okay,
because
okay.
we did get caught, and
Yeah.
and like one of the hardest things was apologizing to her for it,
Okay.
because we stayed over at my friend Sean's house.
I think this might end up being the same thing. I'm curious. Continue.
All right, so stayed over at my friend Sean's house, and we're like, all right, well, let's sneak out and cause some trouble, because we're in
Yeah.
8th grade
Okay.
at the time. It could have been probably, I guess, 8th grade. It's got to be like 8th grade.
Yeah.
Sneak out, run around, causing havoc throughout the neighborhood. Like, I mean, we snuck out probably at like midnight or 1. It's like 6 in the morning. We throw rocks at this house.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing ended up happening in the house, but this guy, I guess, saw us on his way to work at that house. So he ripped out of the driveway,
Okay.
told us to get in the car, and that he was a police officer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we get in this guy's car because he says he's a police officer. He also wasn't a police officer.
Okay.
Yeah. So then brings us back to his house, tells us not to get out of the car. The real police show up, and then they take us to our parents' house. They caught my dad getting out of the house at right before work, which was very unfortunate because no parent wants to have a knock at his door just as he's getting ready to go out to the door to work and see his son with a police officer.
Oh, God, no.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my dad has gotten mad at me for a million things that I've done for sure. But this is by far the maddest I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
And he just looked, I can't remember all that he said, but I remember at the end of whatever that the police officer was saying, he didn't say much. He just looked at me and he said, "Go to your room. Don't come out until I get home." And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I just went up there and he didn't get home until like 5 or 6 in the evening. And this was at like 6:30 in the morning at this point.
Sat there and stared at the paint the entire time.
And I didn't have anything in my room. There's no TV in my room. There's just like a clock radio and books.
Yep.
That's it. So I did not come out of that thing at all. My punishment was my dad said, "This is what criminals do." So he's like, "So we're going to treat you like a criminal."
Oh.
So for the whole entire summer, I was grounded and I would do chores. So you have to do stuff out. You have to do stuff out in the yard.
Yeah.
So you got to go do like work. And then he goes, then you get an hour in the yard to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I would go work and like do whatever he had around the house. And then I could have an hour of playtime outside.
Okay.
And then otherwise I was confined in my room.
Yeah.
Only to come out during meals or if I had to use the bathroom.
Dang.
That's it.
There we go.
And again, clock radio, books. I had some dice.
You got really
I had
familiar
lots
with
of dice. I
those
was a closet nerd, so so I had tons of dice. But yep, that was
Nice.
that was it, and that really really sucked.
Dang, man. Well, I'm glad you went first because you gave me enough time, and your story actually reminded me of what my story would be. Mine's really easy. I got caught.
Oh wait, so I don't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
So I don't know whether to continue mine at the end of yours, or do you want to do yours and then I'll continue mine?
Are you not done?
I forgot that there was there's other stuff to the story, too.
Well, just
all right. So
you've already gone too far. Yeah, go ahead.
And then because I wanted to tie some of these other things in, so we also had to go. So they obviously are pissed that we threw rocks at their house.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the end of everything, but then the police were like, "All right, you need to talk to the family or whatever." So like, all right, my dad was like, "Yeah, they'll go apologize or whatever." So we go apologize, 3 of us. So we go and apologize. We write them a letter, and then we go there to clean the rocks up that we threw. Mm-hmm. We ended up breaking half a shingle on the roof, and that's it. Thankfully.
Yeah.
So then and they live in this really nice house. And so then like the lady, the mom's talking to us about, she had 2 sons. Mm-hmm. Both were older than us. And she told us how great their sons are, like her sons are, and like what like these examples to the community that they are and all this stuff. And then at the end, she said, you need to be more like them, but it's okay. I accept your apology and everything. Hugged us. And then we left.
Okay.
I had to go apologize to my friend's mom. My friend's mom was like in tears and she was apologizing to us. Oh. And I was like, it's our fault. It's like, that has nothing to do with you. And I felt so bad. So that's the thing I felt the most bad about, because then that same lady that hugged us and told us how we should be like her sons.
Yeah.
Then turned around and pressed charges against us.
Oh, geez.
To the police, yes. Which the police were like, no, this is nothing's happening.
What charges are you?
Yeah, I don't know. But they tried to press charges. My dad was so furious at them. And then also, I found out some stuff about her sons, especially her son that was like a year older than me, maybe 2 years older than me. And they were not pillars of the community. Okay. We'll just say. I won't get completely into it.
Yeah.
So very much the opposite.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Yep. Happy birthday, Miss Neighbor.
Miss Neighbor. God. Oh man. So my story is pretty simple. I threw the worst party of all time my sophomore year of high school. That's pretty much it, but I'll go into some detail.
Yeah, what makes it the worst?
Oh, you'll understand soon.
Yeah, I already like it.
Oh yeah, it was great. So my mom was out of town, and I was staying over at my friend's place, and we decided one night that we were gonna have, or we decided at some point that we were gonna have a party. So we started telling everybody at my high school, right? And being, dumb 15-year-olds, right? We didn't really know how to grab alcohol needed for this.
For sure.
So I think we just had some guy just like run and grab us beer. And I mean, when I mean run, I think he literally like ran into the store and ran out of the store with the beer.
All right.
I didn't personally do this. I wasn't there for it, but apparently that was what happened. And this case of 32 beers is supposed to supply the entire party.
How many people do you think it was?
We were hoping it was a lot more than 32 people.
Yeah.
It didn't get to that point. I'll explain why in a second.
Yeah.
So we snuck out, and this is one of my favorite parts is that we put pillows underneath our, when we're supposed to be sleeping to like make it look like we're there. Of course. Yeah. Naturally. Right.
Yeah.
Smart stuff like that. And so we go over to my house, right? We open up the door, we get everything ready. A few people start coming in. This one kid comes in and he's already blacked out drunk.
Sweet.
Right. And so at this point we have maybe 15 people. We don't have actually like cups or anything to play beer pong.
Where do you are you living in a standalone house?
This is
like apartment?
It's a standalone house.
Right,
it's a small house, right?
Yeah.
And my neighbors are literally like 3 feet away from the windows, right? So
Oh,
we're not far. Right. My neighbors were also really cool. I'm still pretty close to both neighbors on this side. So like they honestly, I don't think they would have even said anything.
God bless them.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Maybe they did say something at the end of the day. I have no idea. Anyways, point being is we had a bunch of people show up, right? So we have a group of like 15 people there. This one blacked out kid though starts eating carrots out of my fridge and then proceeds to just start projectile vomiting carrots everywhere around my house. And so the worst part about this, once again, remember, I don't have solo cups. So we're trying to figure out how to play beer pong with like regular china, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We don't have beer for people besides this like one hijacked 32 rack that we got from this random kid who I barely know.
Yeah.
There's like barely any people there, right? And about the party lasted about 15 minutes through this, right? So all this happened in about 15 minutes, and all of a sudden the door just swings open, and my friend's mom is just like, everybody get the fuck out of this house right now.
What?
And we're just like, oh shit, that was fast. And so she kicked us out. We went back to her house and had to clean up. Well, actually, before we left, we had to clean up all of the projectile vomit, obviously. That was a fun time. There was a lot of carrot puke to clean up.
How did she find out?
To this day,
you still don't know?
I'm not positive. I think she knew. I think she
she must
heard
have
us left.
Were you guys calling people?
I don't think until we left. And
but
at this point, I didn't even have a cell phone really.
But if you guys left, how would she know where you were going? Unless she just guessed.
So this is where I think my neighbors might have just called them.
Do you know?
I think my neighbors.
Do you still know is you still talk to your friend?
To this friend?
Yeah.
No.
You wouldn't even reach out and be like, "Hey, dude, I need to know."
I might. I'm kind of curious now.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been so long ago. I don't even know. I feel like I definitely haven't talked to the guy in ages.
The audience is gonna be curious.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I don't, to this day, I don't know how she knew exactly where we were and found us so quickly. I think it could have easily been that like my mom is a very astute person. I was a very dumb teenager. It wouldn't be surprising to me if my mom was like, "Hey, this is my neighbor's number. If my stupid ass son decides to try and throw a party, which he might, then call this person up and check to see if they're there."
that probably is pretty likely.
Yeah, and that's the thing is my mom gave me a lot of wiggle room. My record's pretty clean for the most part. I was for the most part a pretty good kid. But it wouldn't shock me.
Daniel Gilbert was there.
It wouldn't shock me if my mom was like, "Hey, I'm gonna cross my T's."
She talks like that too.
The
pregnant pause.
She does. Yeah, she does the pregnant pauses too. I don't know if she does. I don't know.
It's genetic.
That was
It's not even your
probably
fault.
the worst thing that I've done that I've gotten caught for, and I think my mom made me do community service for that one, and that was either that or it was when I got caught smoking weed at my friend's house, one of the two. And that the community service was awful though. I had to rip out blackberry bushes
Oh,
for like weeks.
damn! How many
Weeks.
hours did she make you do?
I have no idea. It was
That's amazing.
It might have been like 180. I don't know. It might have been less. I don't know. It was a wild amount of time for it was like a significant portion of my summer. I remember. Actually, 180 is a huge over exaggeration.
Yeah, because that
was
would
like
be
it was like
180 is a lot of community service.
I think it was like 2 weeks. It's a huge over exaggeration. It was like 2 weeks. But it was just awful. There was no
sounds
part of
awful.
that. There was no part of that community service that was endearing. And just tearing out and ripping out blackberry bushes for like 2 whole weeks was one of the worst experiences of my
I
life.
had to do community service for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I did have to do community service. I was trying to think of like I had to do community service before I could drive
Yeah.
at a library, and it had to be for that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive. Yeah, it was definitely for throwing because I ended up getting caught for throwing rocks at a car one time. I don't know what was with me throwing rocks, and it was same around the same age.
Yeah.
But I don't think we. I think this one because the cops were involved. I think we had to do community service.
Yeah.
So I had to go, like, just take books. Like, they would just give you racks of books, and then you had to put them in wherever. And it sucked because you're just, like, there for however many hours.
Yeah.
And you're just, like, dink, dink. And it was just like, this is mind-numbing. So I just started putting the books wherever. Because, you know, I'm in 8th grade.
Yeah.
So I was like, la, 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 la.
13-year-old Dan don't care.
Yeah, so.
Man, I don't know. There's, as I said, I wasn't a terrible kid, but you know,
Yeah.
did some stupid stuff here and there.
Yeah, I think that's like any kid, especially teenage years,
Yeah, exactly.
I would say.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, this has been wonderful.
This has been wonderful.
This has been actually genuinely made me very happy.
We've learned a lot today.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we learned that we are closet nerds.
Yeah.
It's okay to watch New Girl.
Yeah, that's true.
Even more important, you should meditate, and your mental health is super important.
Yep.
And that we were both stellar human beings who have never gotten in any trouble ever.
Yep. I'm
I would
pretty
say.
sure that's what I got from that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Good. Hey, good synopsis. Let's go ahead and close it off from here. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.